Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Ark, and pushing his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here quick article dealing with Russia preparing themselves for the day of the Lord, Judgment Day, all right? The war of, how you would say, Gog and Magog, all right? World War III, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and read this here article because why? These things are the things that we're supposed to be doing as the men of the Lord, warning the children of Israel and prophesying unto them about, or speaking unto them these prophecies, all right? So let's just jump into this here article. So on RT, it says, test launch of new Russian anti-ballistic missiles caught on video. It says, a rocket flying at Virginia speeds appears on a fresh Ministry of Defense video as the Russian military successfully tests a new addition to the missile defense shield. Launches of the new air defense missiles were held at Sauri Shagan tested range in Kazakhstan. A brief statement from the Ministry of Defense did not disclose the name of the specifications of the weapon, and the specifications of the weapon only indicating that the missile confirmed its characteristics by hitting its test target. Hey, going into how the scriptures say, none shall return in vain, man. They're gonna all hit their targets, all right? It says the 34-second video shows different angles of the moment the rocket cruises up to the sky, leaving behind a burst of flames and thick plumes of smoke on the ground. The spectacular footage was uploaded to the official YouTube channel of the Russian Defense Ministry on Tuesday morning. Some YouTubers, commenters, impressed by the speed of the missile, suggested that it exceeded sonic velocity right from the start. Another user speculated that the military was probably testing the S-500 Prometheus system, a new anti-ballistic system which is expected to enter service in 2020 and supplement the existing S-400s. All right, experts say that the new system will be able to protect large areas from intercontinental ballistic missiles. The S-500's very long range of 600 kilometers also makes it efficient against AWACS, airborne early warning and control aircrafts, and electronic warfare planes. Going into these drone planes or these enemy reconnaissance planes or these big ass, they call them AWACS pretty much. But nevertheless, it says, though still under development, the S-500 has already drawn the interest of Turkey as an anchor has secured a deal for Russia's S-400. President Erdogan said that the country's military wouldn't mind also receiving the S-500 system, even plans to engage in a co-production partnership. All right. Hey, just going into that, these are super long range missiles that can also protect you from intercontinental ballistic missiles. So look, hey man, let me go ahead and jump to these scriptures real quick. All right, because why? This is let me see, where's that at? Let me try to find that in Isaiah where it says, are thou become weak as we? These other nations are getting on the same playing field as America, because why? America could dominate them with thermonuclear missiles, all right, and intercontinental ballistic missiles, but nevertheless, end all be all, if you got this missile defense shield that can protect you from that, then you don't really have nothing to worry about, especially America and their bomber planes and so on and so forth. Hey man, if you can shoot them out the sky before they even reach you, man, you don't even have to fight the fight on the ground, all right? So this is Isaiah 14:10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Because why? Now they getting on the same even playing field, because beforehand, America didn't have to really worry about anybody shooting missiles on them, and because they could protect themselves with their missile defense systems, which is the Patriot system, all right, which the Patriot system is the American equivalent to the Russian S series, the S-200, 300, 400, and 500, but nevertheless, but now Russia's selling all these missile defense systems to all these other nations. So what? Now they on the same playing field as America. Now they don't have to worry about all these drone attacks coming in and bombing them, or these American bombers flying in and bombing them, or these airstrikes from America, just like over in Syria, man. They got tired of them over there, Israel having their airstrikes over there day in and day out. So what they do? They put an S-300 system over there. Then Israel got all pissed off about that, Let me jump to the book of Job. No, not Job. Salak. Joel chapter 3 and verse 9, I believe. Yep, this is Joel 3 and 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, All right, and that's exactly what's going on. This is basically the spirit that the Lord is as we out here prophesying. Hey, these nations are also getting ready, man. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles: Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up." So all the people whose spirits, where they was, the mighty men or the men that went to war and so on and so forth. They getting turned up, getting so-called activated at this point in time. All these so-called gung-ho people that's in the military. Let's go this and that. All these players are on the field right now, because why? Is we getting drawn closer and closer into the day of the Lord. Verse 10, it says, "Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." All right, because why? This is what's going on. Like I said, these other nations like Turkey and so on and so forth, they didn't really have these missile defense systems, but now they saying, look, man, we basically on par with America, man. You want to bring, your stealth fighters over here, whatever, whatnot. We all good, man. We can shoot them out the sky. We don't even have to worry about you coming over here no more. All right. They pretty much on the same playing field. They saying, are you become weak as we? Now it's actual somewhat of an even fight. It's not just you dominating on us because you got the way better technology, But continuing on, it says, verse 11, it says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be awakened, and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there I will sit and judge all the heathen round about." So this is the time that we coming into, all right? This is why all these different nations are mounting up their militaries. They how do I say, they upgrading their military equipment and military systems for what? For the day of the Lord, to ultimately go down in World War III, all right? Verse 13, it says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you. Now going in to put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. It's like time to go and reap the fields. All your fruits, or the things you planted, it's time to go ahead and pick them. So what is that saying? That's basically saying, look, the time is now for basically this here last war to take off. So now it's time to prepare all these different nations, because why? It's not going to just come up where, like let's say tomorrow World War III is going to pop off, but none of these nations have nothing prepared. This is what you see going on with Russia selling all these weapons and developing weapons and selling them to these different nations. All right. So, dealing with, I know we keep going into the Turkey situation, Turkey with the S-400, but what? These are all the prophecies letting you know what time that we in, because people say what? Let me read this real quick. It says, verse 14, multitudes in the valley of decisions, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decisions. All right. See, the scriptures say the day of the Lord is near. All right. But what? Let me go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. This is Habakkuk 2:2. It says, "And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision." Salat. Let me start at verse 1. Habakkuk 2:1. It says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me." All right. And what I shall answer when I am reproved. All right. So basically, look, just like Ezekiel 3:17 says, "I've made thee a watchman to the children of Israel, therefore give them warning from me." All right. So the Lord has raised up his prophets. All right. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakak Wadash, he's feeding and telling his servants what to say. All right. So what? This is now the time that these prophecies are coming to pass. All right. Verse 2. "And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." So going into certain things, some things may be too deep or too heavy for people to go into, like the Turkey situation or the S-400 and all of that. For a lot of our people, the sincere of our people, it might not be your lane to be able to understand all these different things. But what? You have the prophets out there, all right, that the Lord has how do I say, raised up with certain lots and certain gifts, more or less to say, to see certain things that's going to basically break it down to you, translate these things, give it to you basically in layman's terms, all right, and show you where these things are in the scriptures. So what? All you have to do, it says, in verse 2, "And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." And so basically how we doing these here videos, we go ahead and we do the research. We look into all these different things. We go through the scriptures and find out where these things are. But what? We make these here videos. So all you have to do is go on YouTube, see the video, play the video, watch the video, and listen and understand. So it's quick and easy. And then even from there, you can take the video and hit the share button. All right. You can download the video and re-upload the video, just further spread it out. So the next person don't have to go and find the article and find these precepts and tell it to the next person. Hey, man, it's super easy nowadays. All right. Put the videos together and make it easy for people to understand and break down. All right. And then they can sit there and take it and run with it. All right. Verse 3, it says, "For the vision or these prophecies is yet for an appointed time." All right. So going back into We was just reading Joel chapter 3, talking about some raise up all the mighty men, because basically it's the day of the Lord is at hand. It's nigh at hand. So all these different things are all coming to pass right here and right now. All right, but it says the vision is yet for an appointed time. So when going into the church and Christianity and stuff, Ezekiel 38, which is talking about not the valley of dry bones. Ezekiel 38 talking about Gog and Magog, right? In the Christian churches, they somewhat understand that. They know that this is going to be a big war, right? But nevertheless, they don't really understand the breakdown of the full understanding of that thing. And plus, they don't understand when that's going to happen. But they've, been saying these things are going to happen. And they say they somewhat understand it. But yet and still, as we see these things building with America and Russia, they don't understand that that's the two people that they're talking about. All right, that's going to be basically World War III right there. You're going to have one side versus the other side. All right, one led by the Americans, the other one led by the Russians. All right, so it says the vision is yet for an appointed time. All right, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So going into that, like I said, they've been talking about Ezekiel 38 for the longest time. But what now? This is the appointed time where it was set for. And now, I remember when I was first coming into this here truth, or first learning about the truth. Years ago, I was first coming into all these things, and one of the first things I was understanding was what? Ezekiel 38, Gog and Magog. But guess what? In those times, back in those days, looking at Russia as the enemy of America was like, what are you talking about? They like friends. They kind of trying to help each other out. They did have problems back in the day, but I don't really see them going to war. But now, this is the appointed time. You starting to see these things stir up. You talk to some Americans now, they're like, oh, this is just, they selling wolf tickets or whatever, whatnot, This is how they always get down. That's not going to happen. So you still have some people that don't see this popping off. But what? It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right? Because why? That's what you see. We're reading these prophecies right now, reading the articles right now, and we're pairing them together. These are the things that's these prophecies are now speaking now. All right? It's not like you're reading these prophecies saying, Russia's gonna come up against America. They're gonna duke it out or whatever, whatnot. But you're reading in the newspaper or in the news how Russia and America they having these summit meetings together, and they friends and they buddy. They doing joint ventures together. You know what I'm saying? When you seeing things like that, you're like, oh man, it ain't coming down to pass. But what the scriptures say, the vision is yet for an appointed time. It's for a set time. All right, it's just like you trying to bake a cake and you put the cake in the oven. 5 minutes later, you look back at the cake still look the same, man. No, because the cake ain't gonna rise, but until an appointed time. You can put a pot of water on the stove and turn that bitch up on high. Come back 2 minutes later, it's still not boiling, man. But it's got to be for an appointed time. Once that temperature get to a certain degree, then you almost at the boiling point. All right, and that's where we at right now. So it says, for the vision is yet for appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come. It will not tarry. So look, man. Hey man, just because you can't see this far off, or you've been hearing about this your whole life or whatever, whatnot, look, this is the time it's coming to pass right now, because you're seeing all these prophecies coming to pass right now, man, all at the same time. Beforehand, when they had you in the church or whatever, whatnot, you've been hearing about these things, or Jesus is coming back, so on and so forth. Hey man, none of those prophecies, end time prophecies was coming to pass, man. They never knew about the RFID chip before then. They didn't, they so-called knew about the mark of the beast, but they didn't know what it was. That technology wasn't out and about at that point in time, all right? But now all these things are coming to pass all at the same time. So what? We know how to measure the time diligently, all right, and see where we at, all right? And for another thing, just as a little side note, hey, we are the children of the Most High, so we're gonna have characteristics like the Most High, And you know how people say, just Jake be fucking around, be saying, man, you on some black people time, which means you're like, yo, I'm about to be there in 5 minutes, but then you actually show up, 10, 15 minutes later, They expect you at the time you tell them, but you always showing up a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? Or they say, oh, black people are always late or whatever, whatnot. And it's kind of funny because why? It says, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come. It will not tarry. But like, look, bro, I'll be there in 5 minutes, whatever, whatnot. 10 minutes go by, they calling your phone or whatever. Bro, where you at? You said you was going to be here 5 minutes ago. Where you at, bro? I said I'll be there, right? I'll be there. I'm going to be there right there on time, bro. I ain't going to be late. I got you. Chill out, bro. I'll be there on time, whatever, whatnot, And so it's kind of funny and ironic to me, how people always say that and kind of put that on so-called black people. But hey, man, it's just the spirit, man. Just like these prophecies, man. You expecting these prophecies to be coming here and there as soon as you understand them or whatever, whatnot. You expecting them to come right here and there. But what? The Lord said the vision is yet for an appointed time, man. He's always on time. It's not the time frame that you know and you want and so on and so forth. This is the time frame of the Lord, man. And it's for an appointed time. And he's the one that appoints that time, all right? So what? And in those times, like the scriptures say, the Lord will do nothing but reveal, at least he revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets. And now he has his prophets out there giving the people the warning because, wow, this is, let me read verse 1 again. It says, Habakkuk 2:1, I will stand upon, let me actually go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and 17 first, and I'll go back to that. This is Ezekiel 3 and 17. It says, Son of man, I've made thee a watchman into the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me. All right. So what? The Lord had raised up his prophets and through the Spirit of the Lord, he told them, you know, a certain message, you know, gave them certain things to tell the people. All right. So this is Habakkuk 2:1. It says, and I will stand upon my watch. Like the Lord said, I will make the, you know, I've made thee a watchman. All right. So you're going to be watching for what? These prophecies. All right. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So what we watching and we looking for these here prophecies. All right. Let me grab another one real quick. What am I looking for? The book of Luke. Chapter 10. I'm gonna just briefly go through this real quick. Luke 10 and like 22, I think it is, or 23. This is Luke 10 and 23. It says, and he turned to his disciples and said privately, blessed are the eyes which see the things you see. For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which you see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. Why? Like we just read, you know, though it tarry, wait for it. The vision is yet for an appointed time, man. Plenty of times beforehand, all the prophets and the seers beforehand, the kings and stuff like that, desired to see these days and these things, you know. Just like, well, really in these times that we're reading right now, you know, when the Lord was on the scene, his disciples was on the scene, they asked the Lord, hey, Lord, is it now, are you going to restore the kingdom unto the nation of Israel? So what, they looking for these prophecies, because that's a prophecy that's going to come to pass, all right? But it hadn't came to pass even unto the same day. That's why we still here in Babylon, all right? But nevertheless, you know, all the prophets before us, the kings and so on and so forth, and they desired to see all these things in these breakdowns and see these prophecies be fulfilled. But what? This is, the vision is yet for an appointed time. All right, though it tarry, wait for it. You know, they was looking for the kingdom to come back in those days, you know, when the Lord was walking the scene. But bro, that was like 2,000 years ago, man. You had a whole lot of shit that had to take place in all those things. The first woe, the second woe, and then ultimately the third woe, which those woes talk about what? World War I, World War II, and World War III. All right, so but now we're living in those times where all these things are coming to pass. All right. So it says, actually, let me go to my next precept real quick. I'm going to go into, going back to that article. All right. Let me go back to Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 3. It says, I'm going to read Jeremiah 51 through 3 and then verse 9, I believe. It says, Jeremiah 51, the word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. All right, so this is being talked to about Babylon, all right, or America, all right. It says, declare ye among the nations and publish. And that's what we're doing right now. We out on the highways and the byways and putting these here videos up. Basically, how do I say, it's not a so-called black exclusive website that we working at, you know what I'm saying? Any and everybody can sit here and watch this here website, all the different nations. But not only that, we go on the highways and the byways amongst all the other nations as well too. All right, and letting, you know, proclaiming this out in the public. All right. Not only that, when we put these videos up, you know, you go on YouTube, you have to upload, then publish these here videos. All right. It says, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. So the Lord say, don't hide these prophecies, man. Let the people know about them. It says, say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Murdoch is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Why? Because what? This is the future of America, man. America is about to be destroyed. All right. It says, verse 3, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein, and they shall depart both man and beast. Because why? Well, let me slow down. It says from out of the north, you know, that land of the north. You have two different lands of the north that's actually spoken about in the scriptures, all right? One being Babylon the Great, which is America, all right? The other one is Russia, basically, all right? But nevertheless, here's talking about Russia, all right? But it says from out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein, and shall remove, and they shall depart both man and beast. Because why? The scriptures also prophesy about this here land that nobody was going to dwell here except for like basically the desert creatures, man. Because this whole place is going to be wiped off the face of the earth, man. All right. Let me jump down to verse 9. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. All right, now keep in mind, it says an assembly of great nations. There's going to be a multitude of these different nations, all right, from the north country against Babylon. So again, it's going to be a conglomeration versus another conglomeration, which is going to result in a world war. All right, so it says, for lo, I will raise the cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence, all right, where it says from thence, that means, look, from the land of the north, they're going to wind up taking Babylon, all right? They're not going to be rolling up into Babylon like that and fighting it out on this soil like that, man. The scripture saying for 1 hour, Babylon is taken, man. So what? They're going to wind up shooting off their missiles, every last one of their missiles, all right? All the nations round about, they're going to stand and they're going to shoot their missiles over here in America, man. And in less than 1 hour, this whole place is going to be gone. It's going to be made desolate, all right? But here's another tip where it says from thence, because why? That's where it's saying it's going to be like from one landmass to the other. All right, so it says, from thence she shall be taken. The arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. All right, going back into that S-400 system, man. Mighty expert man, meaning you got a regular man of war, then you got a mighty man of war, you got an expert man of war, then you got a mighty expert man, the top of the top, man. That's these missiles, man, the top of the top, man, the top of the top class, man, the most advanced weaponry that you have on the planet Earth, man. All right, that's talking about these here arrows, which these arrows are talking about these thermonuclear missiles, these intercontinental ballistic missiles, these thermonuclear missiles, man. All right, because why? They gonna be smart bombs, guided missiles. You see what I'm saying? And if you read up on the S-400 system versus the S-300 system, or the S-500 versus the S-400, or even hell, the S-700 system, that pretty much there's not too much information on that yet, but pretty much the S-700 system is a super long range weapon that basically from Russia, they can shoot those things off and hit missiles from the launch pads. Before they even launch them off, they can hit them on a launch pad from all the way over in Russia, So it says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahweh. All right, so let me go from there to the book of Ezekiel 38. We're going to read verse 1 through 7, I believe. It says, Ezekiel 38:1, it says, and the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So when it's talking about I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, you have to understand the state of Russia, man, after World War II. All right, the fall of the Iron Curtain. All right, the fall of the Iron Curtain. They had the Soviet Union, the USSR, the U.S. Soviet states of Russia. All right, beforehand in World War II, it was a conglomeration of nations. All right, but then I believe it was in like the 80s or 82 or something like that, where Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan pretty much they was going back and forth, and basically they had Russia so-called capitulate, or pretty much, they was in arms races and so on and so forth. This is where you had, what they call that, the Cold War, I believe, where it was an arms race between America and Russia with these nuclear bombs, all right? But you had a point in time where America pretty much won that war against Russia, all right, and pretty much bankrupted Russia, all right, and tore up every damn thing, and pretty much set up the heads up over there, you know what I'm saying? So what those people wound up doing, fucking up the economy, stealing all the damn money, all right, and letting the infrastructure go to shit, letting the military go to shit, everything went to shit over there, all right? But then what? When around 2006 maybe, Vladimir Putin came into office for the first time and then started cleaning the house, man, just like Trump said, hey, we about to drain the swamp. That's what happened over there, man. That sleeping bear started to wake up, man. He was hibernating, but now, because you have to go from the USSR, the time frame that they was in, Joseph Stalin, how great of a nation they were, then they fell down to damn near a third world country, man. But then now, Vladimir Putin coming into office, they start bringing up the economy, start dealing with international trade and things like that. Then their military started getting built up, man. Now they have the most advanced military on the planet Earth, man. So what? They are being brought back into that old fighting state, all right? It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army. Also going in, I'll put hooks into thy jaws and I will bring thee forth, When you look at how this thing is going down, Russia's saying, look, listen, even from way back when, they was like, look, we feel like NATO is being set up to combat with Russia, man. Y'all keep getting closer and closer to us. So they was like, nah, we're not going to get no closer to you. But what's been happening slowly but surely, NATO has been creeping up on Russia the whole time, man. So now Russia's in a state now. It's like, look, man, if we don't do something now, we're going to be completely surrounded and there's going to be no way out. So now Russia's like, you know what? We're at the point now where we have to fight it out, man. Because you done got so close up on me, you taking up all my space. Now all of a sudden, if I don't do anything about you, you're going to have your missile defense systems completely surrounding Russia. We ain't gonna be able to launch anything from Russia, and we'll be pretty much sitting as a sitting duck, man. You can just come over here and bomb us from out there, and if we try to retaliate or try to defend ourselves, you just shoot down our missiles, you know. So what? Now they in the state now where they have to duke it out, because America and NATO, or NATO and the EU hasn't surrounded them so much. Now they have to duke it out, or it's just a sure suicide, man. All right, so it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen. All right, so what? Russia is really going to mount up and bring all their whole military. All right, it says, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. Notice here how here is going to keep stressing more and more armor. It's going to be talking about their defensive weapons rather than their offensive weapons. All right, it says in the horsemen now, and also you have to understand that Russia and America are the only two countries. They are the two countries with the most nuclear bombs. They're the two countries with the most nuclear bombs, but they're not really talking about their offensive weapons, you know. Or recently in the news, they had the Satan 1, the Satan 2, the Avangard, the Kaliningrad or something like that. They had these new offensive weapons, the nuclear powered cruise missiles and things like that. That kind of came out recently. But really what they're developing is what? These missile defense systems. And what's your missile defense system? It's basically just like in the old days. You know, you watch 300, where they say our arrows will blot out the skies, and they say, well, shit, we'll hide under the shade of our shields. You know, so when those arrows was coming in, they used those shields to block those arrows, right? The same thing is with these missile defense systems, whether it be the Patriot system, the S series system, the S3, 4, 5, 6, and 700, or S4, 5, and 700. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, these systems are what? These are pretty much your shields, all right? So it says, and I will turn thee back, and I will put hooks into thy jaws. I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right, so again, it keep going into these shields. All right, but it says even a great company, so it's going to be a conglomeration, a big group of these nations, like we was just reading. For out of the land of the north cometh a great company. All right, we just read about that in the book of Jeremiah. It says all of them handling swords. So what? Russia's going to be the ones preparing and selling these weapons to these other nations, and that's what you're seeing happening right now. All right, it says verse 5. These are the people that's in league with Russia. Persia, which is Iran, all right, and you're seeing that stir up right now. You know, America's trying to squeeze their way up into Iran, but guess who you think's going to stand up and meet them at the door? All right, this happened over in Syria, this happened over in Venezuela, and guess what's going to happen over in Iran? The same situation. Why? Because it's written here in the scriptures, man. All right, it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer and all his bands in the house of Tomogah, and the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. You know, that's talking about over there in Syria and in Turkey. All right, so what? They said they're going to have all these, they're going to have their shields and they're going to be with them. All right, and it says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So if Russia is saying to Russia, it says, yo, prepare yourself or upgrade your own weapons, work on your weapons, you know, come up, you know what I'm saying? Prepare yourself, get ready for the fight, man. But it's not only that, it says, prepare, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, be thou a guard unto them. So what? They're going to not only prepare for themselves, they're going to prepare for these other nations and be selling them weapons. You're not going to really be having Turkey and them developing. Well, they talking about having a joint, you know, co-founding with Russia, but you're not going to see these other nations like Syria is not developing weapons to be used and stuff like that. Russia is, and Russia is the one selling it to them. All right. So it says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, be thou a guard unto them. All right, so this is what's going on right now. They're being a guard unto these other nations, protecting these other nations, and that's, like I said, what you see. You know, so don't be alarmed or shocked when you see America trying to go up into Iran and then Russia step up. Like, yo, we already over here. We waiting on y'all. We've been waiting on y'all. We already got our shit. We ready. You know what I'm saying? And especially that's one of the main allies. You know. But nevertheless, you know, I just wanted to, you know, read that article and bring out a couple of these here scriptures, you know, just touching on these here prophecies, because these prophecies are still being, you know, called out day in and day out throughout the news and so on and so forth, man. We're not just in a stalemate moment where ain't nothing really popping off, nothing really happening, so on and so forth. No, man. These prophecies are constantly popping off. They're constantly speaking, man. But it's for us to be on our watch. It's for us to sit there and watch for these here prophecies to come to pass, man. It's for us to sit there and watch and also prepare our house, man. Make sure we have enough wine or oil for that day when the day comes, all right? So, Lord willing, this here was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong and shalom.